Hi students, this presentation is on SDA. Now before moving on to SDA, I hope you have understood the concept of BMR with respect to its definition, the determination, calculation and also factors affecting BMR. And one more thing I would like to just mention that BMR is the sole energy that is required only to maintain the involuntary functions, and that is where it is conducted. The test for BMR is done in the basal state wherein the person is not doing any physical activity, because we need to understand how much of energy is required only to maintain the involuntary functions. And coming to the factors, we have listed out so many factors in the last PPT, and each of these factors would would alter the metabolic pathways, which in turn affects the involuntary functions also. And that is how, be it hormones or be it enzymes or be it the gender of the person or the diet that is taken in, all of these have their role on the metabolic pathways, be it infection. So they do alter the metabolic pathways or processes, which in turn affects the functioning of the involuntary organs like heart, lungs, and that's how the BMR values vary. Either it increases above the normal or it decreases below the normal value. So I think it is well understood. Let us move on to the next concept, that is SDA, specific dynamic action of food. So what is the specific action, dynamic action of food? So there is something that the food is very much important with respect to energy. So the extra heat production over and above the calculated calorific value when the food is metabolized or oxidized is known as specific dynamic action of food. So this specific dynamic action of food is also called as thermogenic action of food or thermic effect of food. So what does this mean? Extra heat production over and above the calculated calorific value. So when the food is ingested, obviously we have learned that food has calorific value or the energy value. So when a particular food is oxidized, it gives out some amount of energy, and that is the energy of that particular food or the nutrient. It is the calorific value of that nutrient. So if a nutrient is supposed to give certain calories, if it is giving more calories, that is what is called extra heat production when that nutrient is oxidized in the cells. So this extra heat production is what is called the thermic effect or the specific dynamic action of food or the thermogenic action of food. Thermogenic means generation of heat. Now, this SDA is actually considered as a loss of energy as more heat is produced than required. As the definition says, it is the extra heat that is produced over the calorific value. So, SDA is considered as a loss of energy as more heat is produced than required. And from experiments, it has been observed that about 10% of the calories get wasted as heat. Now, what does it mean? Means more heat or the calorie is released than required. The same thing what we have discussed here. So it is always advised that 10% of the extra nutrients has to be added in the diet or the food plan. Now let us understand this concept with an example. Now Rubno is a scientist who carried out experiment on SDA using fasting dogs. So he fed a fasting. Why fasting dog? Because when the dog is fasting, obviously the energy stores with respect to carbohydrates like glycogen or the lipids, with respect to the lipids, the triacyl glycerols which are stored in the adipocytes, they would be used up to give out energy that is required for the cells to function. So when the dog is running out of the energy, that is when he feeds the dogs, because in order to get the exact calorific value of the nutrient that is fed, okay, it should not give out any other value, or the other components, the glycogen part of it or triacyl glycerol should not be giving out the energy, should not be adding on to the energy. That is why he tries the experiment on fasting or starving dogs. I hope you understood. So when the dog is devoid of energy, that is when he feeds, so that in order to get a standard value, calorific value of the nutrient that is fed. And here in this column you can observe that this column, you can observe I have mentioned as 100 grams of carbohydrates, 44.4 grams of fat, 100 grams of protein, and 62.5 grams of carbohydrate, 10 grams of fat, 10 grams of protein in the form of a mixed diet. Can you see here? I am just circling this mixed diet, which includes 62.5 grams of carbohydrate, 10 grams of fat, 10 grams of proteins. So if you observe the third column, energy value, these grams, 100 gram of carbohydrate, if the dog is fed only on carbohydrate, so 100 gram of carbohydrate is supposed to give 400 calories of energy. And if the dog is fed only on fat, that is 44.4 grams of fat gives 400 calories. So he has maintained this 400 calories from different grams of nutrients. And here is the column which gives you the extra heat that is produced. So it was supposed to give 400, but it is giving 425. So here the extra heat for carbohydrate is obviously 25. So 425 minus 400 gives you 25. And when you find out the percentage, you get 6.2 as the extra heat percentage that is being given out. Same way for 44.4 grams of fat, which is supposed to give 400 calories of energy, is giving 416. So the extra heat is 16 calories. So when you go for its percentage, it is 4. Again, when the dog is fed on pure proteins, that is 100 grams of proteins, which is supposed to give 400 calories, it is giving 520 calories. So there is a extra calories. How many calories are produced? 120 extra calories are produced. So when you take the percentage, it comes to 30%. And the mixed diet, what is the mixed diet here? 62.5 grams of carbohydrates, 10 grams of fat, and 10 gram of protein. So all this put together should give 400 calories of energy, but it is giving 432 calories. So the extra calories is 32, and when you find out the percentage, it is 8%. Let us again go through this table in detail. So here this is a calculation how we arrived at 6.25%, the first one 6.2. So they have not given the next decimal, but in the calculation you do get 6.25%. Now I'll show you how this 6.2% is got. So for 400 calories, the output is 425. So the difference is 25 calories. Can you see it is 25 calories. So for 400, the extra heat is 25 calories. You should not correlate the extra or the difference in the calories to the extra output that is got. You have to correlate it with the exact calorie, how much you were supposed to get. To that you have to correlate the difference. So 400 calories, the extra output is 25 calories. Now I feel you have understood how this 25 calories have come. So 400 was supposed to be got, but the carbohydrate is giving 425 calories. So when you subtract, you get 25. So you have to correlate the 25 with 400. So for 400 calories, the extra heat output is 25 calories. Therefore percentage, therefore for 100, how much? So for 100, it is 100 into 25 divided by 400, and that's how you get 6.25%. So this is for carbohydrate. Similarly, you can calculate for 44 grams of fat, which was supposed to give 400, but it is giving 416. Same way you can find out for fat. Fine. And also for, then sorry, please make a note here. Similarly, so here we have already covered fat. There is a small printing mistake here. When I was typing, please make this proteins. So 100 grams of the proteins. Can you see? Go back to the table here. It is 100 grams of protein and 44.4 grams of fat. So we are talking about 100 grams of protein, which gives extra 520. So here this should be 100 grams of protein. Please make it as protein, it's not fat. Similarly, 100 gram of protein, which is supposed to give 400 calories, is giving 520 calories of energy. So when you find out the percentage, the extra output is 30%, and the mixed diet, the percentage is around 8%. Thus, when you take the average of all these percentages, that is 6.25 plus you take in here for the fat it is 4%, so 6.25% for carbohydrates, 4% for fats, then 30% for proteins, and 8% for the mixed diet. You get on an average, when you take the mean or the average, that is you add up these percentages, divide by 4, you get 12.06%. This percentage may vary depending upon the composition of food. So you may have spicy food, or you may have, based on the metabolic patterns, there may be a slight variation in this figure. So it is taken as 10% as a standard value for SDA. Now what do you inference from the experiment? So this extra heat released is what is called as the SDA of food, that you know it, and we have observed that proteins have highest SDA values compared to carbohydrates and fats. That is where we get 30% in case of proteins. Please, again I am repeating, this is protein, not fat. Fine. SDA values is greatest when the nutrients are fed individually. Fine. See, in all these cases, it was 30% here individually when it was fed, then carbohydrate was 6%, but when you take a mixed diet, the percentage comes down to 8%, though you have proteins in it. You can see that though you have proteins in the mixed diet, which was supposed to be, protein is supposed to give 30%, but in a mixed diet, the value comes down to 8%. So, values will be greatest when the nutrients are fed individually, but it is lowered when the components or the nutrients are mixed. And the presence of carbs and fat can lower the SDA. That is where we have seen that in the mixed diet, the influence of the SDA of carbohydrate and fat will reduce the effect of proteins. And lard fat of pigs has a very great influence in reducing the SDA value. Fine. What are the reasons or factors responsible for this extra heat production? So, SDA is believed to be associated with the cellular activity concerned with the nutrient. What do you mean by this? So, we know that when the nutrients are ingested, when you eat the food, what happens? They get digested, absorbed, transported, then they go into the cells for metabolism or the degradation, and the excess may be stored in the cells. That is, the excess of carbohydrate may be converted to glycogen and stored in the muscles, or the excess of lipids or the fatty acids may be, what happens, they get esterified with the glycerol and stored as triacyl glycerol in the adipocytes. So the SDA of food is due to all these processes which happen in the cell. So the higher SDA value of protein is mainly due to the oxidation of other metabolites in the metabolic pathway of proteins like deamination and synthesis of urea. So this is not only with respect to proteins, but with respect to carbohydrates and fats as well. So what does the second point mean? So when we were talking about the first point, there is energy required for digestion, absorption, transportation, metabolism and storage aspects of any of the nutrients. Other components will be used in the metabolic pathway. You will have coenzymes used, you will have many other components or intermediates which will also have calorific value or the energy value. So those components are also oxidized or degraded in order to aid or help the main metabolism of carbohydrate, protein and fats. Therefore, this heat production is mainly because those components which have the energy values are also being degraded or metabolized. So that is what it says. The SDA of fat is mainly because for its storage, energy that is required for storage, mobilization and oxidation. And with respect to carbohydrates, the energy or the SDA is mainly because extra amount of heat is required for conversion of glucose to glycogen. So there are so many, that is what is said here. These macronutrients are metabolized and other metabolites are used which also have energy value. Now I hope you understood that when these nutrients, carbohydrates, proteins and fats are getting metabolized, other components of the cells which do have energy values, that is when they get burnt or oxidized, they also are capable of liberating energy. Those components are also used up in these in these main nutrients metabolic pathway, and that's how when carbohydrates are oxidized, the extra heat is liberated, because we have just now seen the for the synthesis of glycogen, this pathway would require so many other metabolites which add up to the energy. So various for various purposes, like here it is glucose, conversion of glucose to glycogen. So in this pathway, other metabolites which have energy values are utilized. That is how they add up to the heat value of the carbohydrates when they are being oxidized. Generally, one more aspect that you have to understand here is when the components or the nutrients are metabolized to yield energy. When we say energy, it is a combination of both heat energy as well as the usable form or the chemical energy or the ATP molecules. So 60% of the energy is in the form of heat, whereas 40% is in the form of usable energy. This is one more aspect I wanted to mention. Okay, that is just an extra point to be noted. So I hope you understood SDA values of carbohydrates or proteins or lipids is mainly because of the energy values of other metabolites which come in between in these pathways. When these carbohydrates or proteins or lipids are getting metabolized, other components are also degraded which add up to the heat value. That is how extra heat is produced. Therefore, to compensate for the loss of the energy of other metabolites, 10% of extra nutrients have to be added in the plant diet. Now, why 10% extra? So, for example, you say you would be given 1000 rupees as pocket money, but you tend to spend more than that. So, you tend to borrow it from your friends. So, what happens? You have to return it back. It is not that you cannot just keep borrowing from your friends and not returning. Then the next time they wouldn't pay you or they wouldn't help you with the money. So, say you are spending around 200 or 300 extra which you borrow from your friends, you have to one day or the other return the 200 or 300 to them. Therefore, based on the expenditure or your budget, you have to increase your pocket money to 1300 or so that you can compensate for the borrowing of the money, so that once or twice you can compensate and you can avoid borrowing money in future. That is where we compensate. So you have to request your parents to give you 1300 or 1400 rupees instead of 1000. So because that 200 300 extra which is getting spent, you are borrowing it from others and you have to return it to them. Thereby, the same way, when you are spending for your main expenses, that is, say, when carbohydrate or protein or fat is getting metabolized, then other components are also being metabolized. So when you are spending for your main things, you are falling short of money. So that is where you are borrowing it from friends. Other metabolites are your friends. So you have to repay them. Therefore, you have to compensate for those components in the cells. That's why you have to add 10% of that extra components or nutrients in the diet. That is where you will increase your pocket money by 10%. I hope you understood this concept of SDA. Now, to understand it more better, say the BMR of a person is 60 kilocals per hour. So for a day it is 60 into 24. So it comes to 1440 kilocals per day. That means the person should be provided with 1440 kilocalories of energy only to maintain his involuntary functions. Now, and on an average, for doing moderate work, about 900 kilocalories of energy is required. So let us calculate 10%. The nutrients which you take in are supposed to give you 900 kilocalories of energy to do your moderate physical activity. But this accounts for SDA also, because when these components are metabolized, they drag in other metabolites and excess of heat is generated. That is, those components are also degraded and it is gone. You need to replenish those components, as I just now spoke to you with respect to pocket money. So that 10% you can calculate from 900. So now 10% of 900 is 90. So you will have to add this 90 kilocals as a mark of loss in the form of SDA. So we take in 1440, which is mainly this energy is required for involuntary activities, 90 for SDA, and 900 for your moderate physical activity. So it comes to around 2430 kilocals, rounding off to 2400 kilocals of energy per day. So 2400 kilocals of energy is required by the person in a day, which accounts for his BMR and SDA and the energy for his moderate physical work. So this 900 can increase based on the type of work he does. It could be sedentary work, then little bit lesser than 900. If it is heavy work, you'll have to include more than 900 kilocals of energy. So this is about the SDA. There is another term called thermogenesis, which is similar to SDA. But here, when the nutrients are not directly involved, we use the term thermogenesis. Thermogenesis means heat production. So say for example, there are other components like dinitrophenol. It is a drug which is given in the treatment which burns fats and carbs, and it is used generally by slimmers or who go to gym. So they use this drug in order to cut down the fat and carbs which help them in putting on weight. So in order to prevent or to have the weight loss, they go in for dinitrophenol. So what does it do? It uncouples oxidative phosphorylation and increases heat production. So you would have seen that. What do you mean by oxidative phosphorylation? Go back to TCA cycle. The electron reduced coenzymes move into the electron transport chain, wherein the electron carriers would take the electrons and finally gives it to oxygen to finally form water. And also because of the proton pump, you have the synthesis of ATP. So oxidative phosphorylation means synthesis of ATP along with water molecule. So this uncouples oxidative phosphorylation means it does not favor ATP synthesis, but instead it converts the energy from ATP into heat. So as I was telling, the chemical energy is also converted into heat energy so that it is not allowed to store in the body. As mentioned in factors like BMR, hormones like epinephrine, thyroxine, then other drugs like nicotine, they also increase heat production. And changes in the metabolic pathway also influences thermogenesis. So one more interesting model was given on thermogenesis by Stirling and Stock, the two scientists who spoke about the involvement of alpha glycerophosphate. It is an intermediate which comes in the glycolytic pathway. So it shuttles between the presence of fatty acids in the free form as well as in the esterified form. When alpha glycerophosphate, which is an intermediate in the glycolysis, when it is more, then what happens? The fatty acids would be in the esterified form, because glycerophosphate would go down the glycolytic pathway to give energy. So energy is not required by fatty acids. Therefore, they are tagged with glycerol to form triacyl glycerols in the adipocytes. On the other hand, when alpha glycerophosphate levels go down due to lack of carbohydrate or due to excess of alpha glycerophosphate oxidases, then fatty acids would have to break down to release energy, which is where we discuss in beta oxidation. So there is de-esterification or esterification decreases. That is, from the adipocytes, the fatty acids will be cleaved or separated from glycerol, and they come into the liver cells to get oxidized to release energy. So here, during beta oxidation, in the first step, there is one enzyme which plays a role, acyl-CoA dehydrogenase, which uncouples again oxidative phosphorylation, favoring heat production. Therefore, lower the alpha glycerophosphate levels, there is de-esterification, de-esterification of fatty acids, promoting to beta oxidation, and the first step would promote more of heat production. So alpha glycerophosphate levels are definitely related with heat production. So fat is stored efficiently with only 4% of wastage, whereas 25% of wastage of energy is involved in converting carbs into glycogen or converting fats for storage. And spicy food with chili and other cinnamon also increases heat production. And now, very importantly, this thermogenesis or SDA is very important to maintain the body temperature of hibernating animals, especially in the polar regions. And that is where, when we go back to this slide, you can see here, consumption of protein rich diet makes us feel warm in cold weather, and this is because of high SDA of proteins. So this is about SDA and thermogenesis. I hope you have well understood the concepts. The next PPT 5 would be on RDA, that is recommended dietary allowance. Thank you.